Welcome back. I'm about to recreate one of my videos I did about 2 years ago, which will pop on the screen now, overloading cable connectors. But we've got a few more things to try out. I'm going to do a few different things. We still have the thermal imaging camera. We've got the classic connector block, which did really well before. We've got brand new Wago 221s, which are the straight through ones. Ideal inline. We've got a few other connectors. We've got through crimps. I'm going to give everything a bit of a test. We've got the welder. And a little issue I had that everyone said to me last video is the welder, realistically, it says 100 amps. I can put 100 amps through it, but we all know that it's not actually 100 amps, and I don't really have a way of measuring it. I have an earth clamp meter, but I don't think it will do anything on it. It'll give us correct readings, but to my knowledge, all of this stuff here is rated up to 32 amp. This is a 2.5mm cable. I'm not putting any extraction in it this time because I've stripped the cable rather than having the insulation burn, but we can go through, see which one's laster. This is an definite test. Exactly what happens. I had a lot of people saying off the last video of it's rated to this, it's rated to that. You know, this is me in a unit with a pink unicorn having a go, showing you what it is. But the reference we're trying to work off is this: is if it's overloaded and it's not got the right circuit protection of our MCBs, RCBOs, and the cable starts pulling more than it should, if it's in an incorrect breaker, what goes first? Does the cable go? Do the connectors go? If they do, which one lasts longer? That sort of stuff. We all want to last a little bit longer, don't we? So let's give it a go. Let's first of all whack this on. Let's give this a go. Oh, it's already starting on 12 amps. Forgot about that. So we'll give it a few minutes, equally as well a little bit. We have their Wagos, their Ideals. That's a Wago. We equally have this other brand. G Pros. So as you can tell, they're extremely similar, these two. So I'm going to do a little head-to-head with these two in a minute as well. Right, something interesting already. We've got 10 amps, and I don't know if it's because I've set this up differently. I don't know the way it's ran, but sitting on here, only on 12 amps, 34, which is the inline, Ideal, 32, which is the 221 Wago. Go over to this one, this is on 60 degrees. And then go back up to the Wago over here, which is 34. I don't know why that one's really hot, but I've tried to separate them out so they're equally spaced out. They've got the same positions on all of them, so being only 12 amps as such, that's a bit odd. Nearly 70 degrees now. 32 now, so we've tripled it, almost. Maths aren't great there. 90 degrees on this one, the Wago, 48, the inline 52, the other way you go 48. So we'll give that a few more minutes, but the more I'm doing this, I presume the test I'm trying to run here isn't working correctly, because this is DC, this is not AC either. So from what I can see of how hot this is getting already just off the 12, that to me shows that it's pumping a hell of a lot more than it should do through the cable. But then I would like to see which one lasts longest. Right, it's been a few more minutes. We're sitting at 110, 115 degrees on that one. Wago here, 70. This one, 80. The inline one here, 80. Signs of thermal damage. We've got a little bit of blistering on the back of that one. The Wago's going strong. That Ideal's going strong. And that Wago's going strong. So now, because I'm very impatient, let's see what pops first. Oh, I can hear movement. There's movement, guys. The Wago to the left is 100 degrees. The Ideal is 136 and rising. Right, we're losing colour in the copper now. It's getting that hot. It's going up. Remember, this is 2.5mm cable. The connectors are rated to 32 amps, so they're all doing well above what they should be rated at. We're still on 99 here. I'm super impressed. Right, this one's smoking now and sizzling. I think we're going to get our first breakage there. That one's melting. There's obviously some reason, and the good thing about this, so you've got the plastic that's just melted off, as you can see, but the lever connectors as it goes in are still connected. It's still got a solid connection. The Wago's starting to blister, the Ideal. It does show you these lever connectors, they hold on for dear life for as long as they physically can. I would have thought until the metal physically melts on it. The outer coating's gone, we're still on, we're smoking a lot here. I'm going to turn this off now. The rating on this joint was 200 degrees on that. The Wago 194. this Wago 194, that ideal 194. Right, that shouldn't be too hot anymore. So, alright, wicked. Yeah, thoroughly impressed with all of them. As you can see, that one was super hot. There was obviously, if you know why there was a reason that there was a hot spot here, please let me know, because to me that makes no sense. The current should be the same passing through all of them. Whether or not it was pushed in all the way, or maybe it was just hot. That one maybe not pushed in enough there. I don't know if you can see that, guys. But they're all solid. Aha, see that one pulled off. And that's the one it was only just in. Maybe it was my fault. Maybe. I'll take that one on for the team. That's still strong. That's still strong. So when people say these are a fire risk, these are that, when they first come out, I wouldn't trust a lever connector. I prefer a solid screwdriver connection, like a connector block. These are fantastic, but they're big, they're outdated. To me, they're cheap. You don't get, in my eyes, a better finish. You can get cables hanging out of it. This is just me spouting, but I think these are fantastic. I think they lasted way longer than they should, and I think that one was just my fault that it wasn't pushed in all the way. But yeah, it took 100 amp DC, so if you can do the calculations below, let me know, that'd be great. Next one, let's try between an actual Wago and a not a Wago. All right, so we've got the Wago 221, the G Pro. Let's get this on. I've made sure the connections are all the way in this time, so we're not gonna have, oh. Right, let's turn this down. Let's do, straight away, we'll do 32 amp DC. We'll see how we last here. But I can do the same procedure after this video. If this video does well, I can do the same thing, but switch them around, or we can double it up and do 2 legs out, one Wago, one G Pro, and with 2 legs out to see if it would make any difference to the cable connectors whatsoever. Right, Wago is just shy of 40 degrees. The G Pro is 80 degrees. So maybe there is a difference with it being second. I really don't know. I am not John Ward or David Savory. So please do not think, it's this Bundy guy, what's he doing? Didn't he have an uncle called Ted? No, that wasn't me, and I'm not John Ward. So 50 degrees, 90 degrees. Give this a few minutes and we'll report back. We're 5 minutes in, we're still getting warmer, 80 degrees on the Wago, 105 degrees on the G Pro. So let's double this, let's go 64, 100, 95, 110, 100, 125. They're doing well though. At that temperature as well, if you think of how hot the cable would physically have to be to draw that much current through it to get that hot, and there they are sat there, nice. They look like something then. They sat there. Oh no, there's 3 of them, never mind. Unless you go to the year 3000, if you all know what I mean, if you know what I'm saying. But the discoloration in the cable's happening. But by now, the amount of smoke that would have come off the insulation from it burning, setting up, happened. I've put a clip on of the existing video I did where it's so bad you would see signs. If it's visible, you can see the smoke, you can be like, right, I need to knock the power off, I need to turn that off, I need to turn the other off's Ninja fryer off because she's trying to cook a whole chicken in it. No, we're burning the wood, we're going up. No signs of thermal damage. I can see on there, Wago, absolutely bossing it still. You can see the cables in the very top of both of them, so they're right near the edge. We're starting to get a bit of discoloration, or we're starting to go, or on both the top of them, it's starting to blister now. Let's crank this up to 80. We are at 194 degrees. Jesus! Well, that scared the absolute hell out of me. I was looking through this. As I was looking through this, I just saw it go really hot all of a sudden. I can't wait to watch this back. So the Wago 221 went first at 85 amps DC, and it was over 200 degrees. So that to me is a win for both of them, and I'm thoroughly impressed with this one because I've never used any. I just got sent a bag of them absolute years ago, and they've just been sat ever since. So we'll have a look at the connections in a minute, and once it's cooled down. Here we have the remnants of our 221. It's still quite hot, it's still 100 degrees apparently. It's just blowing that out the back, so. But yeah, either way, it's just a cool little quirky video to show you, but once again, will stand way more than it should have. And next, let's just try, for the sake of it, a connector block against a ideal and see how that lasts. But the ideals are rated, to my knowledge, these are all should be rated 32 amp. This is a push connector, and these are the big boy ones, and I'm pretty sure these are rated 32 amp as well. A very educational video, as you can see. All right, let's get ready for round 3. I have no idea what that stupid horn noise is outside. You're gonna have to bear with. Very inappropriate behavior from people in their units working during the day in working hours. Oh, God, let's turn that down. Right, let's go straight to 50-ish. Oh, and the last video, it's on like 98,000 views. So if you get 2,000, you think, I am bored. After this video, it was so good, I'm gonna go back and watch the first one. I'll put the link down below. But the connector block held up best last time compared to the push connectors. So we've got 60 degrees there, coming across to 40 degrees. I expect the connector block as well. Hopefully this doesn't blow up in the background. I expect the connector block to do better because it has a bigger cross-sectional area of metal. It's a bigger piece. You've got 2 big screws holding it in either end, compared to the ideals where you have a very thin piece of flappy metal that pinches it in place. So just down to volume of metal in the connection, this is massive compared to this one. But let's see if it will stand the test of time between the two, and I will not eat my words. The difference as well, there's only a little bit of plastic on this one compared to this one, so if they're going to start smoking and melting, this one's going to generate a lot more smoke, toxic smoke, than this one as well. Call me Brian Cox, 60 degrees, 108 degrees. Which makes sense. Like I said, it's a thin piece of metal, it's got a lot of current going through it compared to this one, which is a big piece of metal. Imagine loads of water going through a really thick pipe. The pressure will be low. It will be, that makes no sense, doesn't matter. 70 degrees, 115 degrees. Let's see where this takes us. 70 degrees, 70 amps DC coming across. We're 130 degrees on the ideal. We are sitting a steady 84 degrees on the connector block. I'm gonna stand back here in case it blows up again, takes my retinas out. Right, connector block has just hit its 100 degrees centigrade, and we're at 170 degrees on our ideal. Once again, the ideal is starting to blister and it's starting to melt, starting to ooze out its bottom a little bit there already then. We've got a bit of colour, I'm not going to stick my fingers too close. The cable is starting to sag just because due to the heat of it. The ideal connector is sitting at 195.1 degrees centigrade and the connector block is 157 degrees. So you can see the cable is extremely hot. Let me try and get a temperature reading on the cable. Try. Cable is running, it's 115 degrees cable. Here we go, connector block is slowly going. Its skin is being pulled back to release the underside. I'm so sorry, I didn't sleep much last night. But I must say, there's barely any smoke coming off of it. If I come back here, you've got a little bit, but not a lot. God, the compressor went on next door and I jumped. Right, let's see the temperatures we're at. That connector there, come on, is at 194 degrees. The connector block, 194, so we're exactly the same temperature now on both. Connector block is starting to sag as well. Let me crank this up. Let's do silly things. Here we go. You see that size, this is exactly what I'm like. The difference in size between that piece of metal and that piece of metal is massive. I'm going to turn this off in a second because it's really starting to smoke and it's burning the wood as well. So 194 degrees, 194 degrees. Once again, super impressed, super chuffed. Just shown the remnants of the plastic being cut through and slipping off, this and this and this, to relieve the metal connections. They're still really hot, I'm not touching them. But it does show that the new era, the new age stuff is just as good as the old school stuff, which is more expensive, but we can have it maintenance free, which means we can put connectors up in lofts, up in floors, up in ceilings, obviously with the right containment to the right boxing for the vibrations and all that sort of stuff that goes with it. But this is a win. It's a massive win, I think, for all the connectors. Let me know if there's any other ones that you want me to try and check. I was going to do the crimps, but next video, another time. Any other connectors you want me to try, or any of the different methods, and if you do know how I can calculate the actual current going through the cable through the welder, please let me know below. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.